Hey, this is Samantha Mo, Certified Parent Coach. And hello, this is my first video message that I'm leaving for you in honor of the year of 2015, the time of resolutions and trying things that are new. Now, you might notice this beautiful view in the background. This is not my home. I'm actually on the north shore of Lake Superior because my husband Ty and I took an end of the year retreat in order to rejuvenate and decide where we want to go in the new year. And I thought I would share this with you without doing my hair or wearing fancy clothes, because that's not really what it's all about anyways, is it? So the reason that I'm sending you this message today and sharing this with you is because I did this really amazing activity that I think you would really like. It was a journaling activity where I really reflected on the year of 2014 and identified where I am now. And there's a really great guy named Nathaniel Brandon who talks about how you can never move through where you've never been. And so at this time where we set New Year's resolutions, it's important to be really honest and acknowledge, where am I now? Because if you can't even acknowledge where you are now, whether that's good or not so good, you're not able to move past it and attain these new resolutions that you have for the new year. So as a parent, if you were to be really honest with yourself, you'd want to ask, well, where am I now in my family dynamics? Do I enjoy being around my kids? Do my kids listen when I give them an instruction? Are my partner and I on the same parenting page? Is it easy to get my kids into bed at night? Will my kids do their homework without fighting me? And is the way that I'm currently parenting does that way feel good to me? Or am I caught up in frustration and fighting and yelling that drains my energy? And so if any of those are true for you, what I want you to do is grab a piece of paper and a pen as soon as this video is done, and to write the question on top, where am I now? And to just bullet point, just do a brain dump of all of the things you're experiencing in your family dynamics, both positive and negative. Because as Nathaniel Brandon says, in order to move to a new place, you have to first be here so that you can move through it and be really honest with yourself. The second part of this activity is then to ask, well, what do I want? And all of us need to do this. I'm talking about doing it in the category of parenting, but I did it across many categories. I did it in terms of career, money, relationship, friendships, health and fitness. And when you look at what you want, the reason that this is so important is because this is a really hard question for us to answer. Either because past experiences have influenced us to believe that we can't really have what we want, or because we haven't really had the opportunity in our society to answer that question. I mean, how many times does somebody ask you what it is that you want? Now that is unless you have a coach, a parent coach, a business coach, a life coach in your life. That's one of the key questions that you'll be asked over and over. But I'm not here to sell you anything. I want you to do this activity where you also write down on a sheet of paper, what do I want? And get really clear. So if you're doing this for the category of parenting, you might realize that what you want is a peaceful family dynamic. Excuse me. Or you might want to feel like a cohesive family. Or you might want to enjoy time with your kids. Or you might want to feel energized rather than drained. Now, when I did this exercise, I was looking at I'm going to share one of the categories that I looked at, and for me, one of them was business. And when I looked at 2014 and I identified what really is, I realized that 2014 was a little bit of a painful year for me, to be honest. See, I started off the year by seeing a lot of one-on-one coaching clients, and while that's my absolute favorite thing to do is to connect with parents and help them develop plans so that their kids will listen and they can enjoy being around them rather than engaging in power struggles, I realized that I wanted to reach more families, because touching families one at a time felt like it would take forever to bring my mission to this world, which is helping parents feel confident and cohesive on the same page when it comes to getting their kids to listen and helping them develop into productive human beings who share their gifts rather than all the arguing and fighting kind of dynamics. So when I looked at where I came from the new year into the second half of 2014, what I learned is that it was really hard for me to see beyond my own solutions as far as how I could bring my mission into the world, and that I didn't actually have the skills to grow my business on my own. And so I reached out and hired a business coach whose name is Natasha. And Natasha helped me understand how to create a group program so that I could work with a group of parents all at once and teach them my 6 pillars of parenting, as well as creating what families desperately needed, which was a community, especially with kids who are strong-willed and intense and have a really hard time letting go of control and letting their parents lead them. That can be a really isolating situation. And so creating this group community that I in my Mad to Glad blueprint really was supported because I had a business coach helping me get to where I wanted to be. And so the next thing that I looked at in terms of this exercise was, so where am I now? Well, now I'm in this place where I've created this business that really fulfills me because I'm able to reach 20 parents at a time instead of 1 parent at a time. And by acknowledging that and letting go of any disappointment of maybe my brain gets too big of ideas and I think I want to reach 200 families at a time, I was able to really be in this place and say, okay, so what do I want? Well, I want to maintain that connection so that I can really help families, and I want to have a greater reach so that kids can really grow up knowing that they're unique and that they're important despite their behaviors, or in conjunction with their strong-willed personalities, that there's really gifts embedded in that. And so when I look at what I want for 2015, I realize that what I want is to align with 4 schools who want their parents and their professionals trained in this Mad to Glad approach so that everybody's on the same page, so that adults can communicate with kids in a way that nurtures them rather than damages their self-esteem, and that's really effective, that helps kids understand that listening is a good thing rather than having them fight against it. And kids are able to get along with the adults in their lives, which nurtures their self-esteem, which helps them see themselves as good, which helps the adults in their lives see them as good, and they can really blossom into these beautiful human beings. So I'm really curious to hear from you. Not just the where are you now, because that could be a really private activity. What I'm most interested in hearing from you is, what do you want in 2015? And you don't have to know how you're going to get there. And this certainly isn't a sales pitch where you have to work with myself as a parent coach or anybody else. But to really be honest with yourself of, what is it that you want in 2015? So share your comment with me on my blog section, and be open to the possibility of how it is that you're going to get there. That's not what you have to do right now. You don't have to know the plan. You don't have to have all of the skills. You just have to spend a little bit of time reflecting on what it is that you want in 2015. So please do share with me below. I look forward to reading them, and I'll talk to you again soon.